Hi guys, thank you for joining me for my first ever episode of Life by Design. Really excited to be going on this journey with you all. Today I want to share with you an interview that I did with an amazing man, multi-passionate, multi-talented, has a vast array of skills under his belt. And he's just an all-round fantastic guy, so down to earth, so grounded, and so talented. He goes by the name of Dr. Matthew Horkey, aka Matt, and he's the author of this book, Travel, Learn and Earn. And he is a trained chiropractor, a professional wine taster, an author, a speaker. He runs a website called blueroster.com with his girlfriend, where they talk all things travel, wine, and inspiration. How he's managed to meld the three things together is fantastic, and he talks of stories from the road and how they have affected his mindset and how he utilizes certain personal development tools, certain spiritual tools to his advantage to make the absolute most of those experiences. What I loved about this book was how heartfelt it was. Each chapter opens with an extract from his Facebook posts whilst he was out traveling, and they were very honest, very open, and the things that he discovered along the way were absolutely amazing, and they went so well with what he then goes on to explain in the chapter. He touches on all of the personal development knowledge that he's acquired over the years from, extremely talented people. But what also surprised me about this book and made me enjoy it even more was the spiritual side and the very metaphysical side. And I think that's all stuff that has contributed to him being such a grounded man. He also has an exciting YouTube channel called Exotic Wine Travel, where he talks about all things wine. He's really, really passionate about it and so talented as well. So I guess without further ado, I want to let you leap into the interview. Enjoy the interview. Thank you. First and foremost, I guess I want to ask you how did it feel, and what was that point at which you decided I really want to live life that little bit differently?
So I had never traveled that much until I got to chiropractic college, to graduate school. In the States, we have university 4 years. Then my doctor of chiropractic was 4 extra years, like medical school or law school. And I didn't start traveling abroad until I was in graduate school. I was 22, 23 maybe, first time I went abroad. And I was sitting down with a guy just before I was about to graduate, and I really looked up to him. He was already successful in business, but chiropractic was going to be a second career for him. And we were talking, and he said, if I was you, I would go practice in Italy, I would go practice in Spain, I would go practice somewhere outside the country. And I do remember that moment because it took me back, and I thought, wow, I was doubting myself whether I went to graduate school too soon, if I should have traveled around the world, just let the world kick my butt, work just these odds and end jobs for a while. And when he said that, it just connected. So, of course I could practice abroad. I could live abroad, get some life experience, be successful at the same time, and that's something that never occurred to me before. So that was the moment.
And so when you said goodbye to your parents, your family, your friends, and you head out on that journey, how were you feeling?
Do you feel scared before you travel?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I remember the story you told before you traveled, but you were really getting worked up, and I think it's the same. I love to travel, and I'm always on the move. These last 8 months I've been traveling around the world just drinking wine, going through wine regions. And after staying in a place for 4 days a week, every single time I get clammy and think, oh shoot, maybe I shouldn't go, maybe I should just stay here. It's nice and comfortable, I really like it. So every single time before I do something, that's how I felt. Before I embarked on that journey, I felt the same way, but then you switch your mindset to thinking about what's possible, what can happen if you do take these steps forward. And I think that's what helps move me into action, moves you into action.
And so when you were on that journey, as you explain in the book, there were some massive bumps and obstacles and some really, I guess, dark nights of the soul. How did you push through those? What kept you going? What was the motivation?
I think that you, being a metaphysical and spiritual person, will relate to this a lot. When you're going along the right path in life, you're always going to derail and fall off the track a little bit. But you know that you're on the right path if you have someone, something, some event that grabs you and puts you back on the railroad. For me, for instance, when I was finally had started getting business going in Indonesia, and then immigration came in, they blacklisted me, they kicked me out of the country, and I was really devastated because my life was here, all my stuff was here, and I started working in Singapore for a little while. I'm just doing some odds and ends job. And somebody had dinner with me one time, and I was telling her I was thinking about giving up and maybe just going to travel or go be a travel writer, just scrounge around a little bit, just try to survive. And she said, "You really have something special inside you, and I think you're meant to do this, so just keep with it, don't give up." And she was a food and travel writer. She's married now in Singapore. Every time I go back, I make sure to thank her for doing that for me, because my life would have been completely different if she wouldn't have said that.
So in the book, you've got a very practical approach to things, which I love, and I've learnt that about you here. So I'd like to give the viewers something practical to take away with them. And there were two exercises in this book that I came across that I thought were really powerful. The first was the gratitude process, but doing it in the future tense. I mean, I've always done gratitude, but very much for things that I have in the present moment or in the past. But what was so interesting to see is that you've done it for things that hadn't yet occurred, and this was a really powerful manifestation tool for you. So if you could just tell the viewers a bit more about that and
Okay.
how you do that.
Yeah, I think that if you look at how our reality is, there's always a lag between space-time. For instance, if you eat crappy for 2 weeks, you're not going to see it in a few days. You're going to see it 2 weeks down the line. There's always a lag time. So I think you flip that perspective, and why can't you look into the future? So what I would do, and I still do to this day, is I write down exactly what I'm thankful for that I perceive myself to have in the future, or foresee myself to have in the future. And I think when I do it, I really try to get into that space, really try to visualize having it, really try to feel really thankful. And I think it's awesome because when you go back on your gratitude list, when I look back, all these things I said I was thankful for start to happen. So I think it's probably one of the most powerful and underutilized tools that people could ever do or use.
Definitely one that I'm going to be taking.
Yeah.
And the second was the landmark education principle of be, do, and have.
Yeah.
I got that in the right order,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, it's again not one that I'm familiar with, but one that you say you utilise quite a lot to have gotten you where you are today. Again, for the viewers, could you just explain the be, do, have principle and how it works?
I think happiness is the best example. So the proper order for everything in life is you should be that person first, then you will do the things necessary to have the result. So let's take happiness, for instance, with material goods. You can relate this being from a big city, being from London. A lot of people say, you know what, I think if I have the big car first or have the house, then I'm going to do things to make myself happy, make other people happy, and then I will be happy. But that's completely out of order. You need to be a happy person first, then you'll do the things necessary to get what you want in life as a result of you being happy, and then ultimately you'll have that thing. It really all starts with being, just being.
Which is the theme of my year. So I could talk to you for the rest of the day, forever, but I know we're on a short time frame, so I just have a couple more things to ask you.
Okay.
You have some exciting projects coming up. What are you up to? What should we watch out for with Matt Horkey, Blue Roster, all of those things. What are you most excited about?
Thanks for the plug. No, so I basically run, my girlfriend and I run this this long form writing site called theblueroster.com where we write about, it's basically travel and wine. So travel, we talk about culture, food, inspiration, personal development, and wine. And I'm starting a YouTube channel, or I've started, called Exotic Wine Travel, because we plan to travel through all these unknown wine regions of the world and share people's stories, share our observations, because I love wine so much because it's a lag in the space-time continuum too. What you drink in the bottle is a resultant of grapes that were crushed 2-3 years ago, and as a resultant of vines that were planted maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago. And there have to be so many factors with the universe: the sun, the soil, the water, the way that the winemaker has his hands in the soil and kind of coalesces that grape to express its fullest potential being. I think it's all completely related, and it's fun to drink, right? It's fun to have a glass of wine. So that's what I'm really passionate about. That's what I'm moving forward with next. And I'll always have this book, and I love to talk, but I just wrote that book because I wanted to write it. And if something comes out of it, any speaking or anything comes out of it, then I'm happy. But if not, I'm glad that it's out.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And last but not least, if you could share one message with the world, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a fully loaded question. If I could share one message with the world, it would definitely be to identify what you truly want. You truly want what I truly want, and live by that blueprint. Not by your neighbors or your best friends or your mother's or your father's blueprint. Live by your own blueprint. And I really feel like if more and more people were doing that, the world would be a really, really amazing place. It already is, but it would be an incredible place if people were doing that more often.
Thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate this book and everything that you've taught me and everything that you're doing. I wish you the very best of luck for the future. And I'm excited. I'm very excited.
And I want to acknowledge you because I really like your writing, and I think that you're on a mission to help and impact people in a big way. So I want to applaud you and I wish you luck in the future.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.
So if you'd like to hear more about Matt's work, then again, please check out blueroster.com and also his YouTube channel, Exotic Wine Travel. I'd love to hear your comments, your feedback about what you've heard from Matt's story. I'd love to hear how you are going to take on the Be, Do, Have principle and also the forward or future tense gratitude process. They're both principles that I'm really, really excited about and will love to try. Really looking forward to joining you again for episode 2 of Life by Design. Here's to love, light and miracles.